All right, traders, welcome to the end of day market recap for Tuesday, April 26th. Theme of the day, well, I would say a couple things: nasty price action. Things that have been kind of consistent over the last couple of weeks is when we have one of these washout days, there's really no surprise to it. You've got breadth that is pretty nasty for the day, a lot more decliners than advancing. You could see this on the bottom right of our screen, or sorry, bottom left of our screen. So market breadth indicator has been giving us some good signals. Right when we start the day, it's kind of giving basically everything that you need to know for the day is that breadth is down. The other thing that's been pretty consistent is the VIX continues to rage higher. Kind of came in a little bit there yesterday, but still elevated back up to 32. So VIX was up 24% for the day. When we look at the price action for the day, which we'll go over the charts, the index charts in just a second, but the Qs were down to almost 3.8%. They're down another 1% after hours, after earnings. IWM, IWC, microcaps, those both down about 3%, and SPY down about 3%. So continues to be, I'm looking for more adjectives to describe this price action, but just an overall nasty price action to the downside. You could see how many sectors as well just continue to sell off throughout the day. Nothing really doing in terms of interest on the long side. And this is one of those situations where you just kind of have to let it play out. In hindsight, the bounce yesterday, what we talked about yesterday, one day is not a trend. And what we've been seeing whenever we do have one of these green days is just very little follow through. From a couple of years ago, when we would start the day lower and close around the highs of the day, you would normally see some follow through upside action. But this is a couple times now where we've seen just basically the opposite. No consistency, no follow through from the next day. If we go over to the 5-day price action, right from the start of the day, big red candle down, and just a continuation right till about lunchtime, where the volume is the lowest of the day. One of the things that we keep going over in the room is do not get sucked in by lunchtime bounces. They are the lowest volume of the day. And there's and then the volume tends to pick up again right around 2 o'clock. You could see right around 255 was the last green bar, really to the upside, and then a spillover to the downside. So where does this leave us on the daily chart? Well, we have broken the value area. And that was one thing that we held yesterday, but not being held any longer. Weekly charts, these are a couple things that I tweeted out over the weekend, was that we are still inside value for the year, and 12,207 is the bottom of value. So we've got further to go to the downside before we hit that support, before that 80% rule that I've been talking about a few times now, right? We talked about the 80% rule playing out on the daily chart. From the top to the bottom, that has definitely been fulfilled. And then when we look at the S&P futures, that 80% rule has been complete on the daily chart, but it's not yet there on the weekly chart. We're getting close. That level on the weekly is 4071, or if you want to level in SPY, that's 404.69. So that's about a little bit more than 10 handles further to the downside for SPY. So 404.69. So that's what we'll be watching. And then we'll basically be watching if support holds there. But overall, this has just not been a place to kind of stick your neck out. Like, even if we get to this level down here, that doesn't mean I want to be committing a bunch of capital. It just means I want to be watching. Couple other things too I would add right now is that you don't see me posting too many charts overnight. I did de-risk towards the end of last week, and I've just been kind of hanging out and just watching and not getting sucked in. Every time, like, I seem to, so updated positions, I remain 95% cash in my trading account. But every time I get a little bit sucked in, in terms of doing a little bit of a day trade, sticking a toe in, basically the toe gets cut off, I continue to remain about 95% in cash and just kind of waiting for this downside price action to take its to basically to happen. As a reminder, we've got a Fed meeting on May 4th. Maybe that changes the tone, but again, these are things to kind of just watch. Watch to see if the VIX starts to come back in, watch to see if there's better participation in this market. We've been talking about how there's been a lot more decliners than advancers, and this is not a great market really to do much more than be playing things to the downside, which of course have a couple trades on there. I'm still long synthetically the ARK ETF through SARK, SARK, and I still have this IYT put spread on where I've taken 2 targets. I did a couple trades on earnings. I don't think either one is going to work. I did take a shot to Google on the long side. That clearly is not going to work. And then I also took a shot on CMG, Chipotle to the short side. We'll see how that plays out. Stock is flat right now, but just really thought that the added costs that they're experiencing are going to cut into their bottom line. But we'll see if that translates to the price action for tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great night. Again, best thing I can say is basically just some of the things that I've been kind of hinting at is that try to being defensive in here. Just it's live to fight another day right now, and to not only avoid losing P&L, but also to make sure that your mindset that you're holding on to that, and basically maintaining your mindset. Going really negative here and losing confidence is something that you don't want to do. So continuing to stay fresh. If you have to, taking a day off here and there, or going out in the middle of the day, you could just kind of tell, how these days are unfolding. Once you have this type of breath that we're experiencing through the session, it's very difficult to come back from that, and more often than not, once you start down like this and the breath is that bad, it's usually a good chance either that you're going to finish on the lows or very close to it. All right, guys, that's it for today. Again, hang in there. There will be better days than this. You just have to be patient and just kind of let the price action play out. Have a great night, everybody.